Hi there. This is going to be a bit of a different video than normal for me. The title of this video, as you can tell, is called Hypomania and Regret. And the reason for this video is because 1 year ago today, I released a video that is called I Am Leaving BBC Radio 1. Yeah, not my not my finest work maybe with that title. And it has 1.5k views, man. That is something. I guess the big thing with this is that it's part of a wider story that starts with my, I guess, mental health at the start of 2022, when I in January just kind of shut down completely from a mixture of things that's not really worth going into in full depth here, but just a lot of things were difficult for me, like stress, anxiety, pressure, and I shut down for a long time. But then I came back in September 2022, and I started to experience something that I'm very certain was hypermania, and I want to make this video to reflect on that and to acknowledge some of the things that I said and did, and talk about it. Phone link just updated. That's a weird bloop sound. But yeah, so what is hypermania? Well, according to Mind, as best my understanding is, it's a period of overactive and high energy behavior that can have a significant impact on your day-to-day life. It definitely did. And hypermania is a milder version of mania that typically lasts for a shorter period. For me, it was months. It was months. And mania is a more significant, a severe form of it. You might experience hypomania or mania on their own, or you might have them as part of a broader mental health problem like bipolar, postpartum psychosis, or schizoaffective disorder. I don't have bipolar or schizoaffective disorder. Is postpartum, post-pregnancy, but I don't have these things. And there's a quote here which says, I love being hypermanic because I feel as though I'm on top of the world and can and will do anything I want, but I hate it because I feel so disconnected from everyone else. Symptoms include happiness, euphoria, sense of well-being, very excited, you can't get your words out fast enough, but also irritability, you're easily distracted, your thoughts are racing. Increased self-esteem or self-confidence, how you might behave. You might be more active than usual, you might talk a lot, you might be very friendly, you might spend money excessively, and you might lose social inhibitions. And I guess this is when you also get parts from mania that are symptoms like you feel like you're invincible. You feel like you can't be hurt. You say or do things that are inappropriate and out of character. Now, I guess for me, in like November, December, January especially, last year crossing into the start of this year, I think I was in a state where I was waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. I was maybe sleeping 3 hours a night, and I had this constant, uncontainable energy. And I felt like I had nowhere to put it. I felt like I was, the center of the universe. And I think a lot of things that happened, there was some negativity that was coming my way. And I reacted to that negativity. But also, I think in the midst of a situation where, as you would expect, when someone who feels like they're invincible and unstoppable and has all this energy, when someone experiences that kind of feeling and then gets negativity sent towards them, just people being a bit like harsh to them or people being critical, you don't kind of just go, oh, I'll move on with my day. You fight that, and you go into like a warpath. And I was very much on a warpath last year. And I know that to this day, there is certainly people who don't really talk to me as much as they used to. Some have explicitly said they didn't, like the way I was just acting, which I respect a lot. And other people have just said, or I've just noticed the greater distance between me and them, even now. So yeah, I guess the big takeaway is that when you're in that situation, you just start to like attack, and in that situation, a lot of people kind of will get caught in the crossfire. There were some people who were being like horrible to me, and I look back and I think, well, it's not an ideal situation. It's understandable the way I was upset and the way I reacted. But then I look at some situations and I just think, what the hell was I doing? And that is what I want to lead on with Hypomania, because as this page says that I am on now, after an episode of Hypomania or Mania, you might feel very unhappy or ashamed about how you behave, have made commitments or taken on responsibilities that now feel unmanageable. I haven't actually done that. Have only a few clear memories of what happened while you were hypermanic or none at all. Feel like you've hit a reset button and you're a different person to before the episode. I relate to so many of these things. And I think the first thing I wanted to say is that I don't know if anyone would be watching this who maybe had a negative experience with me last year, whether they saw something on social media stupid that I said, or whether I said something to them, is sorry. Because I think, mental health is mental health, but everyone has to take ownership of their own mental health. And certainly it's crazy for me because I looked back maybe 2-3 weeks or a couple of months after the matter and I thought, you know what, I'm in the right here, I can understand. But then I look back now a year on and I think, I'm definitely not in the right. Like, if I'm not going to pull up a lot of, my old stuff, but there's a documentary that I made, which I actually think was a really good documentary. And I stand by that's more about kind of expressing and documenting what I was going through, which is going to be in the bio. So you can watch that documentary if you want a bit more context. But this tweet, which I sent on the 15th of December 2022, almost a year ago, UK radio industry, there will be a day when I stroll on stage at the Audio Radio Industry Awards to collect an award. I'm going to tell you all exactly what I think about you, then leave that meaningless lump of metal on stage and laugh in your faces. What an absolute dickhead. That is the only reaction I have to that. What an absolute dickhead, would tweet that. But I tweeted it. I tweeted it last year. And at the time, it seemed like a very reasonable thing to me. I just felt like everyone was against me, and I was just fighting this battle, and that I knew kind of the right way of doing things, and I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed about that, and there has certainly been a fallout from that, which is understandable. I kind of take that collateral as just the universe rebalancing itself. All I know is that, it would be easy to go, man, I would do anything to go back and change that and change certain things. But I knew that, when I was in this state, there was a lot of negativity inside me. And I guess my response to a lot of these feelings, a lot of these things that had been bubbling up maybe for a few years, some of them actually justifiable with real rooting behind them, and others probably more egotistical, came to the surface, and I was kind of purging that. I was getting that out rather than containing it all. And maybe that's helped me get back to a normal and healthy frame of mind in the long term. But certainly in the short term, it had consequences. Obviously, anyone reading that would be like, what an arsehole. I don't want to follow him. I don't want to associate with him anymore. And that's very understandable. I think whilst I do want to, acknowledge that, I think also, we're living in a time where a lot of people really love talking about mental health, and they're always saying things like, yeah, reach out to your friends, understand, check they're okay, be there for them, don't stigmatize mental illness. But then when you actually have maybe the uglier side of mental illness or just mental health problems, I don't have anything underlying, but I was certainly experiencing this feeling. And in that moment, I think I was just very vulnerable as well. I think a lot of people, when they actually see that close up, they don't like it, and they don't want to kind of engage with you. They just want to get rid of you. And there was some really great people at this time. I was driving everyone crazy, and I'm so sorry to my family and my close friends, because I was a bit of a nightmare to be around. You can imagine, this is the way I was talking. I was I couldn't switch off. I was talking in these crazy, grandiose, hyperbolic terms. I remember I got a voice message from a rapper called Vital, who is a very good friend of mine. I wish I saw him more, and he just said to me, brother, I've seen your posts, and I think you're struggling now. Social media is a crazy place, but you can't let it, turn you crazy. You can't let it get to you. And the way that he reached out to me with so much compassion and so much empathy, kind of through probably some very overblown hyperbolic stuff from me. I think that was an incredible response, and I like to think I would act in that way now if I saw someone who I thought, yeah, more perhaps would benefit from direct conversation and sympathy, and just friendly challenges, rather than people kind of saying, yeah, fuck it, like I don't want to associate with you anymore or anything like that. So I think a lot of what I wanted to get at with this was just reflecting on all of this a year later, and certainly this video, which I won't be watching. I think it's just one where I do regret it now. Like, I do regret making this big video. There were some very real points behind what I was saying, very real experiences that I'd had and kind of things that I felt. And the main thing for me was just saying, I really want to be this new music figure, the Zane Lowe of Twitch or whatever, and I want to be in that position, and I don't want to, I don't want to settle for less, and I don't want to kind of wait for someone to, I don't know, give me permission to be that. But it just, the timing of everything, I don't think it came across well, and it's just one of those situations that I can't change, but I want to take ownership of. It's just a chapter in my life which I look back on, and I see a different version of myself that I know I would act differently. I'd act differently now in that same situation. And I think talking about and acknowledging these things is really important to allow us to grow as people. And hypermania is something that a lot of people in the media experience a lot, I think, especially in creative industries. It makes you feel like you can do anything, and a lot of the time it does help creatively, but it also brings a huge spotlight on you. And certainly I've just been so grateful for the opportunity over the past 12 months since I was in this very charged hypermanic state to kind of just calm down and get back to being myself. I've been having some really good experiences with therapy, just with general stuff, which I would recommend for anyone, actually, if you can certainly find the right person to talk to. It's a great process of kind of reflecting and addressing maybe what's beneath a lot of the actions that would be undertaken when you're experiencing hypermania. And generally, I think my life is just more peaceful now. I have withdrawn from socializing with loads of people to just having very strong relationships with my core friends, so I'm very grateful for. And I just want to say that I'm better, I'm doing better, and I'm okay. And if there's anyone who's kind of in a place right now where maybe you're experiencing hypermania, or maybe you just feel like everything is going against you, the world is crumbling, and everything is coming for you, that it's just time. Time is the course that heals these kinds of wounds. And yeah, that's the video. I think things have been going really well this year. I've been really enjoying Twitch. They could be a lot better, certainly. I want to push myself a lot more with the content that I'm bringing to you guys. But I'm most grateful for just being like more peaceful now, because when things were at their height, it was just like, no peace last year. And I think, like I say, I've had some people say to me to my face, like, I just don't, you were on one last year, so I didn't want to associate with you, but you seem like you're kind of better now. And yeah, I would say largely, I think I understand that. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I know that this time last year I made a video that I kind of regret now, and that while I understand a lot of the kind of emotions that I was going through, and the reason I reacted, I think, was very legitimate. There were a lot of things, again, which I won't go into, but I think difficult situations that were understandable that I would react negatively to. But making a YouTube video and just venting so much about that is something I regret and I wouldn't do again. And yeah, once again, I'm sorry to anyone who was kind of caught in the crossfire of that from me, because the last thing I ever want to do is be a negative impact on other people. And when you're in this state, you're a lot. Like, my friends were just saying that, like, it was exhausting for them to constantly kind of almost have to deal with me. So, yeah, I'm trying to be the best version of myself I can now. And if you've watched this video, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time. And I think 2024 is going to be a really, really good year. You can obviously still follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimSenna. And yeah, just if you see someone who's kind of going through something, even if they seem like, they're not exactly depressed, because I was not depressed. That was not my problem. If you just see someone acting in a way that you think feels like just they may need some help calming down, I think it's really important to provide that help and to message them and say, just like, it's okay, you're okay, and the world's not against you. And if you need someone on your side, like, I'm happy to be on your side. I think that's a good thing that I'm going to try and take into 2024. So big love, everybody. I will catch you soon. There will be 2 more videos at least on my channel before the new year, hopefully before Christmas. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.